I'm Noelle Freisen, and welcome to the Center for Real Estate Education Unit Review Series. In this review, we are going to explore Chapter 1, Real Estate Licensing. First, I'm going to go over all of the key words with you. Then our amazing licensed real estate instructor, Jeff Halpern, will give you an overview of Chapter 1. Now remember, these videos are for study purposes only. They cannot replace the hours that you take with a live teacher for the 75-hour course. Now, good luck on studying, and we'll see you in class. Keywords. Broker, one who buys and sells real estate for another, for a fee. Broker salesperson, a qualified broker who practices real estate in the position of a salesperson in another broker's office. Continuing education, 12 hours of study required for license renewal. Guarantee fund, money set aside to reimburse persons defrauded or badly served by real estate licensees. New Jersey Real Estate Commission, administrator of real estate licenses in the state of New Jersey. Real Estate License Act, the law governing real estate practice in New Jersey. Real Estate Referral Company, a real estate firm that only engages in listing rental units to find prospective tenants. Realtor, a registered trademark reserved for the sole use of members of the National Association of Realtors. Realtor Associate, salesperson associated with a realtor who joins the National and State Association of Realtors. Referral fee, part of a commission or fee shared with a broker who sends a client or customer to an agent. Salesperson, a person who performs real estate activities while employed by or associated with a licensed real estate broker. Salesperson licensed with a real estate referral company, a person who is authorized to only make referrals and no other real estate activity. Title 11, Chapter 5, Rules and Regulations set up by the Commission. Those were your Chapter 1 keywords.
Hello everyone, my name is Jeffrey Halpern and this is Unit 1, Real Estate Licensing. So today we're going to describe the classes of the New Jersey real estate licensees, including the qualifications and exemptions for licensure, and explain licensing procedures for New Jersey residents, out-of-state residents, and rental referral companies. So who must be licensed? Anyone who's taking part in a real estate transaction in New Jersey for another person for fee, commission, or other valuable consideration. Licenses are governed by the New Jersey Real Estate License Act, known as Title 45, Chapter 15, and the rules and regulations are set up by the New Jersey Real Estate Commission, known as Title 11, Chapter 5 of the Administrative Code. So of the Real Estate Commission, there are 8 members. 5 members are real estate brokers licensed as such for at least 10 years. 2 members are from the general public, and 1 member is from the Department of State Government, they're all appointed by the governor, and they can be let go at any time. There are 4 classes of real estate licenses. There's the broker, the salesperson, the broker salesperson, and a salesperson with a real estate referral company, known as the SLWRERC. Say that 5 times fast. So let's break it down to the broker. So a broker is authorized to operate a real estate company, also known as a broker of record. A salesperson works for the broker, and they are one that are licensed to sell real estate. A broker salesperson is one who fits all the qualifications of a broker, but they do not run they don't run a sales company, but they can be a branch manager. And a salesperson licensed with a real estate referral company is just that. They work for a referral company in which they can refer business to their broker who then can. So what are some of the activities that require a broker's license? Well, list real estate for sale, sell, exchange, buy, auction, or rent real estate, collect rent, solicit prospective purchasers or sellers, and negotiate a real estate loan, sell lots for and other parcels for a developer, sell business opportunities that involve real estate, and attempt to do any of the above. What about those requiring salesperson's license with broker supervision? They can negotiate purchase, sale, or exchange of real estate. They can negotiate real estate loans. They could lease, rent, or collect rent. They could sell lots for and other parcels of land for a developer, or they could just send sales referrals only. Now, there are some exemptions of those who do not need their real estate license. One is known as a FSBO, or owners handling their own property. They do not need a real estate license. Attorneys, executors, trustees, receivers, administrators, legal guardians, and others handling real estate under the court order only. So they can't just sell real estate, they have to be under a court order. Banks and trust companies as well. Matter of fact, you will see them when they do foreclosures. And insurance companies. There are insurance companies that actually own property. Lots of it, most of the time it's commercial real estate. So how does one get paid for services? Well, when you sell a piece of real estate, you collect a commission. But the only way you can collect a commission is that you must be licensed. So an example is, your mom decides to use you as the son to sell their real estate, and she'll give you a new car. Unless you're licensed, that is actually against the law. You do get paid for services, though, as a licensed agent or broker at the time of service and when it's performed. Now, there is a way to share commissions. It's only with the sales associate that's within the company by their broker, or only with the licensed associate salesperson's licensed with a real estate referral company, or a broker can share their commission with another broker. They can never share commission with an associate from another company. It has to go directly to the broker. There are prohibited activities for unlicensed assistants. So let's talk about what that exactly is. Many companies now have admins or teams have assistants that are unlicensed. And they help the operation going, but there are things that they are prohibited from doing. They cannot show a property. They cannot answer questions about a listed property. As a matter of fact, when a call comes in, they must refer that call to a licensed agent. They cannot make cold calls on behalf of an agent. They cannot discuss contracts or any other documents with anyone outside the brokerage. And they cannot make telephone calls about rent collection. It is all prohibited. They also cannot host open houses or sit at promotional booths unless they're with a licensed agent. And even then, they cannot talk about real estate. They cannot distribute promotional materials unless there's an agent with them. And they cannot attend a home inspection on behalf of the agent. But here's some of the things that they are allowed to do. They can answer calls and forward those calls to the agents when they have questions about real estate. They can process and submit listings and changes to the MLS. They can place signs on property, pick up keys, and deliver documents. But again, they cannot talk about real estate. They can schedule appointments for showing properties, and they can set up files, track and secure all documents for either the agent and or the real estate company. They can also do the following. They could do certain activities under the direction of the licensee as long as it's not so-called real estate related. They can keep records of deposit earnest monies, security deposits, and rent. They can keep records of loan applications and follow up on it. And they can compute, which is the most important for us real estate agents, commission checks. So here are the qualifications for licensure of a salesperson. They have to be 18 years or older. They have to prove a high school education or equivalent. They have to furnish evidence of good moral character. They have to successfully complete the 75-hour pre-licensing course. They have to disclose their social security number for child support enforcement purposes. They have to provide documentation of citizenship or legal residence in the United States. They have to pass the state exam, and they have to be sponsored by a licensed broker to activate their license. And until that happens, they cannot sell real estate. So now the broker also has to have qualifications. Again, they have to be 18 years or older. They have to have a high school education, same as the sales license. They have to furnish evidence of good character. They have to serve 3 years full time as a licensed salesperson. That's full time, which means at least 40 hours per week, working 10 to 8, and not having a part-time job for more than 25 hours per week. They also have to complete a 150-hour pre-licensing course. In that licensing course, it's 90 hours of the real estate class, 30 hours of the ethics class, and 30 hours of the management class. Of course, they have to disclose their social security number, again, for child support. They have to provide documentation of citizenship or legal residence in the United States. They have to pass a state exam. Now, there are some exemptions or exceptions for licenses for veterans. The experience requirement for a broker or broker salesperson license can be waived for an honorably discharged war veteran or with a service-connected wound disability. And for those service people and veterans, thank you so much for your service. Also, the fees may be waived, and they usually are. And of course, there are some exceptions for educational requirements. Although the state requires that everyone must pass the state exam, there are some that are exempt from taking the education, which we talked about, the 75 hours for a salesperson or the 150 hours for the broker. They could be licensed broker from another state. They could have been previously licensed in New Jersey broker within the past 5 years. Someone who has taken the equivalent real estate courses in college, and yes, colleges do give real estate courses. A New Jersey attorney doesn't have to take the education requirements, but they do have to take the test. And certain applicants who took equivalent pre-licensing course in another state. So my advice is check with the Real Estate Commission before you have to go to school, because your education requirements may be waived, especially if you're coming from out of state. So let's talk about license and criminal convictions. Obviously, they want someone of good moral character to get the real estate license. So no license will be issued to anyone convicted within the preceding 5 years of forgery. Forgery is probably the worst offense of all of them when it comes to real estate. Never, ever, ever sign a document on behalf of your client, no matter who it is or what they tell you. It could come back and bite you. For burglary, so if you were involved with burglary in the past 5 years, you will not get your license. For robbery, same thing. Any theft other than shoplifting. So you can shoplift all you want, just kidding, but any theft will get in the way. Any criminal conspiracy to defraud or any like offense. Here's some additional licensing issues. Of course, we already talked about the required experience for a broker's license, but let's talk about that real quick again. Remember we had talked about that you have to be in the business full-time 3 years before you can apply for your broker's license. That has to be verified by the broker or brokers that you currently work with within that 3-year period. So even if you work for 10 brokers within those 3 years, you must get a certification from them, which comes from the state, to show that you worked full-time for that brokerage within that time limit. So that's that time limit on application, which, by the way, the time limit on application is you have 1 year from the day you finish your class in order to obtain your real estate license. If you do not obtain it within that year, you will have to come back and take the 75-hour or 150-hour course, whichever license you're going for. Now, non-residents can also get their real estate license. So you could live in another state and still get your New Jersey real estate license. A lot of people do that. And vice versa. There's a lot of New Jersey residents that get their license for other states. But when you're getting your license for New Jersey, when you live out of state, you must file what is known as an irrevocable consent to service of process, which really means is that you must accept being sued in New Jersey if someone's going to sue you. Now let's talk about corporations. Now, a corporation can get their license, a real estate license, as long as one of the officers is qualified and is a New Jersey real estate broker. Then, of course, what happens when your broker either passes away or becomes incapacitated? What happens to the brokerage? Well, actually, the state will issue and can issue a temporary license to an agent who's not a broker yet, if there are no broker associates, who has been full-time in the business for 3 years or more. However, there are some caveats. Number one is that you have to apply to the Real Estate Commission within 30 days after this occurrence happens to your broker, and that person that's the temporary broker must get their license and go through the process, the 150 hours, within that first year. Then, of course, there's those times when if you don't renew your license. So if you don't renew your license after the licensing period of 2 years, you're going to have to renew it and go through the process again. There's some licensing fees when you do become a broker, and the licensing fee for a New Jersey real estate licenses. So when you get your license, you've gone through the process, the new licensee must pay $160 to activate that license through the state. That's a salesperson. A broker pays $270, a corporation pays $270, and a branch office pays $150. And last thing on this slide is transfer and termination. So when you decide, and someday you may leave the company that you joined. As a matter of fact, you will be recruited, especially if you're good, by other companies to join their company. So you have every right to transfer. The way the process works is you must tell your current broker, they must terminate you through the Real Estate Commission's roster, and the new company then activates you. Now there is a fee, and it's $25 to transfer. Your previous broker must terminate you within 5 days after you give that termination date to your broker. So let's talk about continuing education. So you're required to take 12 hours of continuing ed every licensing period. A licensing period is every 2 years, and the new license period occurs every July 1st of the odd numbered years. In other words, the next time that my license has to be renewed is July 1st of 2021. And the next time it will be 2023. So within that licensing period, you must take 12 hours of continuing ed. 6 of those hours are known as core, which are the core factors of real estate, whether it's laws and so forth. 2 of those hours are actually required as ethics class. So 2 of those 6 hours must be of ethics. The other 6 hours of continuing ed, you have a choice of either doing core or elective. Now, the beauty of elective is that if you hone in on a certain skill you want to develop, you can take a course that includes that skill, which may not be core, but it's elective. It's a good way to learn the course. So just remember, it's 12 credits. 6 are core, of which 2 are going to be of ethics. And then the other 6 are going to be on core or elective. Now, you can obtain credits for certain courses taken in other states, but you have to check with your state, New Jersey, to see if it qualifies. Now, one thing is not required is if you're a referral agent, which is the SLWRERC, you're not required the 12 hours of continuing ed per license period. However, if you decide to reactivate your license with a real estate company, then you must then take all the hours that you missed in order to get back into the real estate business. In other words, if it's 1 licensing period, you'll have to do 12 CE courses before you can start real estate. If it's 2 licensing periods, which is 4 years, it now becomes 24. If it's 3 licensing periods and you come back, you actually need to take the entire 75-hour course again to reactivate your real estate license. So if you are a referral agent, you really need to think about your plans in real estate. Now, another thing too, so you need to know is that you are required to complete your continuing ed by June 30th of that odd year. However, the state would prefer that you be done by April 30th of the odd year. As a matter of fact, if you don't finish your classes by April 30th of the odd number year, you will be paying a fee of $200 to the state to finish those courses. And no matter what, you have to be done by June 30th. Because if you cannot be done by June 30th, your license will not be renewed for July 1st of the odd year. So here again is the licensing procedure for salesperson. To complete the 75-hour pre-licensing certificate, and you have to take the state licensing exam and receive a score report. Your score must be 70% or better. The test is 110 questions. Therefore, you can get 33 wrong and still pass the test. Submit the score report. So what happens is that when you pass your test, you will receive your score report right then and there, right at the testing site. You take this score report and you bring it to your broker. But before you do that, you also must be fingerprinted. And the reason why you get fingerprinted is so that they can look at your criminal history. Because if you do have a criminal history, before you even start your licensing, you may want to call the real estate commission to see if you really can go through this. So when you pass your school exam, and you must pass in order to take your state exam, you pass your state exam, you get fingerprinted, you bring everything to your broker that you're working for, you give your broker a check of $160 as a salesperson, or $270 if you're a broker salesperson, and that information, and by the way, that check must be made payable to the state treasurer of New Jersey. It must be either a certified check or it must be a money order. Those items are then given to your broker. Your broker then submits it to the state. And then when your name is activated on the state roster, that's when you can begin selling real estate. No time before that. So again, this is what we just talked about. You have to make an appointment. You have to bring 2 forms of ID. We have 4 hours to take the test. 4 hours. So let me tell you something. If you can't complete your test in 4 hours, you probably didn't pass it. Just saying. And again, as soon as your name is posted, you can start working. So anyway, let's talk about another part of this licensing fee. So $10 on the $160 licensing fee, or $20 from the broker licensing fee, goes into what is known as the guaranteed fund. So the guaranteed fund is one in which reimburses the public if for some reason there was a wrongdoing against them, against the public, through a real estate transaction, whether it's through a licensed agent or a broker of the company, or of just someone that's unlicensed employer of the broker. Because if you can't collect the money from the broker, the state you'll be able to collect from the state. But there are some caveats, of course. First of all, when you sue the broker, you also must name the real estate commission in the lawsuit. Number 2, you must then try to collect from the broker, and if you can't, then the state will give you up to $20,000 to the complainant, and then the state has to collect it from the broker. If the state cannot collect it from the broker, the license can be suspended, and they will be suspended until the broker pays back the state. So again, what we talked about, obtain a court judgment, you name the real estate commission as a party, try to collect the judgment from the broker, a criminal claim may be filed, and last thing is no spouse of a licensee may bring action to the guaranteed fund or to the state. And last thing is rental referral companies, part of this group. So there was a time, and I'm not sure it still goes on, that there was what is known as rental referral companies. So people would come into a rental referral company and they would pay for a list of all the rentals that are available in the area. And the fee at the time was $75 to $100. It's changed a little bit, and I'm not sure there's even rental referral companies, but you need to know for the test that to be a rental referral company or rental referral agent, you still have to have a real estate license. And you have to enter into a written contract with each prospective tenant. And anything that's advanced more than $25 towards the real estate referral company must be placed in an escrow account. A couple other things too is that when a rental referral company has rental listings, they must check every 3 days to make sure of its availability. And lastly, if they're advertising it, they must check every 24 hours to make sure it's still available. And that's it. That's the end of this chapter. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in Unit 2.